Lesson number 8, Cell Structure and Functions. Different sets of organs perform various functions you have listed. In this chapter, you shall learn about the basic structural unit of an organ, which is called a cell. Cell may be compared to bricks. Please underline. Bricks are assembled to make a building. Similarly, cells are assembled to make a body of every organisms. 8.1 Discovery of the cell. Robert Hooke, underline, in 1665 observed slices of cork under a simple magnifying device. Cork is a part of the bark of a tree. He took thin slices of cork and observed them under a microscope. He noticed partitioned boxes or compartments in the cork slice. Figure 8.1. These boxes appeared like a honeycomb. He also noticed that one box was separated from the other by a wall or partition. Hooke coined the term cell for each box. So, what Hooke observed as boxes or cells in the cork were actually dead cells. Cells of living organisms could be observed only after the discovery of improved microscopes. Now we go to the point 8.2, the cell. Please underline this. Both bricks in a building and cells in the living organisms are basic structural units. Figure 8.2 A and B. Please see the figures. The buildings, though built of similar bricks, have different design, shapes and sizes. Similarly, in the living world, organisms differ from one another, but all are made up of cells. Cells in the living organisms are complex living structures unlike non-living bricks. Now we go to the next page. The egg of hen represents a single cell and is big enough to be seen by the unaided eye. Now we go to the next point, organisms. So variety to cell in cell number, shape and size. Number of cells. Can you guess the number of cells in a tall tree or in a huge animal like elephant? The number runs into billions and trillions. Human body has, underlined, trillions of cells which vary, means differ in shapes and size. A billion is 1,000 million. A trillion is 1,000 billion. So different groups of cells perform variety of functions. Underline this. Organisms made up of more than one cell are called multicellular. More than one cell. The number of cells being less in number and smaller organisms does not in any way affect the functioning of the organism. You will be surprised to know that an organism with billions of cells begins life as a single cell, which is fertilized egg. The fertilized egg cell multiplies and the number of cells increase in development proceeds. Look at the figure 8.3 A and B, amoeba and paramecium. The single celled organisms are called unicellular. Please turn the page. Amoeba and paramecium are the examples. Single celled organisms perform all the necessary functions that multicellular organisms perform. Single celled organisms like amoeba captures and digests food, respires, excretes, grows and reproduces. Similar functions in the multicellular organisms are carried out by group of specialized cells performing different tissues. Tissues in turn form organs. Now we go to shape of cells. It keeps on changing its shape. Amoeba has no definite shape unlike other organisms. Observe the projections of varying lengths protruding coming out of the body. These are called pseudopodia, false feet, as you have learned in standard 7th. These projections appear and disappear as amoeba moves or feeds. The change in the shape is due to the formation of pseudopodia, which helps in the movement and in capturing food. WBC, white blood cell in human blood, is another example of single cell which can change its shape, but while WBC is a cell. Amoeba is a full-fledged organism capable of independent existence. Generally, cells are, underlined, round, spherical or elongated. Figure 8.4a. Some cells are long and pointed at both the ends. They exhibit a spindle shape. 8.4b. Cells sometimes are quite long. Some are branched like the nerve cell or the neuron. The nerve cells receives and transfers messages, thereby helping to control and coordinate the working of different parts of body. This membrane provides shape to the cells of plants and animals. Cell wall is an additional covering over the cell membrane in plant cell. It gives shape and rigidity to this cell. Bacterial cell also has a cell wall. Please underline. Now we go to the next one, size of cells. The size of cells in living organisms may be small as a millionth of a meter. However, most of the cells are microscopic in size, very small, which cannot be seen with unaided eye. They need to be enlarged or magnified by a microscope. Underline. The smallest cell is 0.1 to 0.5 micrometer. This is the unit. The largest cell is 170 mm into 130 mm is the egg of an ostrich. Please underline this. The size of cell has no relation with the size of body of an animal or plant. It is not necessary that the cells in the elephant must be much bigger than those in a rat. The size of a cell is related to its function. Please underline this, very important. For example, nerve cells both in elephant and rat are long and branched. They perform the same function, that is of transferring messages. Cell structure and function. You have learned that each living organism has many organs. Each organ in the system performs different functions such as, underline, digestion, assimilation and absorption. Similarly, different organs of a plant perform specific functions. For example, roots help in the absorption of water and minerals. Leaves, as you have learned in class 7, are responsible for synthesis of food, means making of food. Each organ is further made up of smaller parts called tissues. A tissue is a group of similar cells performing a specific function. So, finally, the cell in a living organism is a basic structural unit. 8.5 Parts of the cell. The parts are, the first one, cell membrane. The basic components of a cell are cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. Figure 8.7. The cytoplasm and nucleus are enclosed with the cell membrane, are also called plasma membrane. This is the other name. The membrane separates the cells from one another and also the cells from the surrounding medium. The plasma membrane is porous and allows the movement of substances or materials both inward and outward. The boundary of the onion cell is cell membrane covered by another thick covering called cell wall. The central dense round body in the center is called nucleus. The jelly-like structure between the nucleus and the cell membrane is called cytoplasm. In addition to the cell membrane, there is a thick layer in the cell of plants called cell wall. The additional layer surrounding the cell membrane is required for plants for protection. So, what is the function of cell wall? To protect it. Cell needs protection against variations like temperature, high wind speed, atmospheric moisture. They are exposed to these variations because they cannot move. Cells can be observed in the leaf peel of, these are the names given to you. You can prepare a slide in case of an onion. Now we go to the next page, that is cytoplasm. What is cytoplasm? See the figure. Cytoplasm is given nucleus, cell structures and nuclear membrane. It is the jelly-like substance present between the cell membrane and the nucleus. Various other components or organelles of cells are present in the cytoplasm. These are mitochondria, Golgi bodies, ribosomes. Now we go to the nucleus. It is very important component in the living cell. It is generally spherical and located in the center of cell. It can be stained, colored and can be seen easily with the help of microscope. Nucleus is separated from the cytoplasm by a membrane called nuclear membrane. Underline, this membrane is also porous and allows the movement of materials between the cytoplasm and the inside of nucleus. Then we have nucleolus. Chromosomes. What are chromosomes? They carry genes and help in inheritance or transfer of characters from the parents to the offspring. The chromosomes can be seen only with when the cell divides. Now see, read, gene is given in the rectangle. If your mother has curly hair, you might also end up having curly hairs. However, different combinations of genes from parents result in different characteristics. Then we have prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, which is given in the rectangle. The cells having nuclear material without nuclear membrane are termed as prokaryotic, and all organisms other than bacteria and blue green algae are called eukaryotic. These cells, like onion cells and chick cells having well organized nucleus with a nuclear membrane, are designed as eukaryotic. Go to the next page. Then we have a large space in the cell which is called vacuole. It could be single and big as an onion cell. You might have noticed several small colored bodies in the cytoplasm. They are scattered in the cytoplasm of the leaf cells. They are called plastids. Now see the figure 8.7. Difference between animal and plant cell is given there. So in the table 8.1, please fill it up. See the figure and fill up the table. Comparison of plant and animal cell. Find out the difference. Now, what are chloroplasts? Green colored plastids are called chloroplasts. What is the function? They provide green colors to the leaves, and you might recall that chlorophyll in the chloroplast of leaves is essential for photosynthesis. They prepare food in presence of sunlight, which are green in color. And last we go to the summary. All organisms are made up of smaller parts called organs. Organs combine to form tissues. Organs are made up of smaller parts. The smallest living part of an organism is called a cell. Who discovered a cell? Robert Hooke in 1665. Cells exhibit a variety of shapes and sizes. Number of cells also varies from organisms to organism. Some cells are big enough to be seen with the unaided eye. Hence, egg is an example. Some organisms are single cell, while others contain large number of cells. They can be unicellular or multicellular. Cell has main three parts: cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. Nucleus is separated from cytoplasm by the nuclear membrane. Cells without well organized nucleus are called prokaryotic, and with nuclear membrane are called eukaryotic. Okay. So colored bodies called plastids are found in plant cell only. Green plastids containing chlorophyll are called chloroplast. Plants cell has a big central vacuole, unlike a number of small vacuoles in animals.